Welcome to Ask Dr. Tom. We connect with Dr. Tom to talk about all things health and wellness, cancer treatment, etc. This is Ask Dr. Tom with Dr. Thomas Incledon. He's the founder and CEO of Causenta Wellness and the Causenta Cancer Treatment Center in Scottsdale, Arizona. From working with NFL, MLB, MMA, world-class athletes, and even the White House, Dr. Tom's reputation of personalized medicine and cutting-edge technologies have put him on the map for caring for some of the most powerful people in the world, making him one of the most sought-after healthcare professionals of our time.
I've heard of people getting their gallbladder removed, typically in their older years. In my experience, in their 50s and 60s and beyond, they end up getting their gallbladder removed. Is that typically a preventative measure for risks of gallbladder cancer, or is that typically completely unrelated?
So I've seen a gallbladder removed for different reasons. People have had pain and the gallbladder was removed. People have other issues, with digestion or something, and the gallbladder was removed. And certainly if there's cancer in the gallbladder, it could certainly be removed for that. I guess maybe the next, I'd say I would take that a step further and say, though, is that necessary? And I've seen lots of people, let's say they had pain, had the gallbladder removed, and they still have pain. So it clearly wasn't a good strategy because it didn't address what was causing the pain. I would ask people to approach it where there are therapeutic movements that we could do that help people, one, understand what's going on inside their body better, but better interpret pain signals. And then that way I would do exercises first, and if the pain goes away, there'd be no reason for surgery. Now in that case, let's assume the pain was from inflammation of the gallbladder, but there's no evidence of cancer yet. Now if we go a different case, someone has cancer and pain, we can still do the exercises to help reduce pain. In terms of fighting the cancer, then that would be another type of intervention that we would use to try to target and kill the cancer cells there. So they may not need surgery in either case, is what I'm saying, because there's other options available. And then if they're being monitored, so let's say, for example, we're measuring bilirubin levels and some other markers. We do a strategy here, and a week, 2 weeks, a month later, we're taking measurements, and if we see levels improving, we're going in the right direction. So then a person can have more confidence. All right, let's see how this goes. I may not need surgery at all. Now let's say a different case, we're doing some interventions and the levels keep increasing. Then hey, surgery looks like a better option for me because I'm not responding to these other, options. So at least then the individual has more confidence in their decision, whichever way they go. They have data on their own body to justify their decision making, as opposed to making a decision without any data at all, and then it turns out to be the wrong one because they guessed,
We're talking with Dr. Tom. This is the Ask Dr. Tom show, and today's topic is gallbladder cancer. As Dr. Tom pointed out, not a very common cancer. One of the symptoms that Dr. Tom mentioned is jaundice, and when I think of jaundice, I typically think of newborn babies that may be a little bit yellow, and then they got to spend a little time in the little fry warmer, and then they get better. But jaundice as a symptom of gallbladder cancer makes me wonder what causes it, and what other symptoms people should be aware of with gallbladder cancer.
Yeah, so jaundice occurs when the bile duct gets blocked, and once the bile duct is blocked, bile no longer flows through freely, and so then you don't get bile going into, let's say, parts of the body where it could be used for digestion, and so there's a backup, if you will. So then there's an increase in bilirubin levels in the blood, and then eventually other tissues. And then what you see is that as that bilirubin deposits in the tissues start to turn yellow. And so, if it gets into your skin and as it gets into your, capillaries and your skin and then your eyes, you'll start seeing, different parts of this person's body turn yellow.
Are there other symptoms that people should be aware of to look out for besides that, as a warning of gallbladder cancer in addition to the jaundice?
Yeah, so I guess if you had a checklist of symptoms, if you will. So you have one would be none for gallbladder cancer because some people have no signs or symptoms until it's very, very progressed. Two would be abdominal pain. Three would be maybe bloating or itchiness of the skin. Some people may get a fever. So, you know, this is one of those cancers. One, it's rare. Two, the symptoms, it's not so overt and obvious, you know, so it gets back to regular checkups because if you did like a standard chemistry panel that any doctor can order, you would look at bilirubin levels. And if they're normal, you know, chances are you're not going to have anything going on. But let's just say they're going up really high, then the doctor's going to say, hey, we got to look and see if there's a bile duct that's blocked. We got to do some sort of scan to see what's going on there.
We're talking with Dr. Tom. Today's topic is gallbladder cancer. Gallbladder cancer, according to what is available online and what we're learning today, is hard to detect, so it's usually isn't found in early stages. If you or someone you love has been diagnosed, if they're listening right now, for people that are listening or sharing this with their family, what are key questions you should ask to be sure you understand your options and treatment path for the best possible outcomes?
It's going to be the same two, doesn't matter what cancer. And those two are first, what will you do for me and the cancer in my body? And so the idea is this is what the patient or the family member is asking, you know, of the physician that they're speaking to. And you're going to listen to their, you know, what they share with you, like, hey, here's how we're going to help you as a unique individual. If they say, look, here's the same thing we do with everyone, then that's a red flag that it may not be a good fit for you, because we know that there's no guarantee that because it worked for one person, it could work for the next person. So the way we increase the likelihood of things working is we study the individual. We don't study one person and then force it on another. So like when you check the oil in your car, you don't base to put more oil in off your buddy's car. You don't check his oil level and say, I need some. You check your car's oil level and then you know if you need some. And then the second question really is, when you do this strategy for me and it doesn't work, now what will you do? And because the assumption most people have is they're going to do one thing and it's going to work. That very rarely happens. You usually do one thing, it doesn't work, two things, it doesn't work, maybe three or four, and then you figure it out. So you need to be in a center that has lots of options to get to that point where things work. Otherwise, if you're here and it doesn't work and you keep doing the same thing, you're going to die. There's no way that you're going to miraculously change direction. There's no, I've never seen, you know, that ever happened ever, and it doesn't make sense scientifically or logically why it would. So a good fit for most patients is somewhere that can assess and say, this isn't going well, and we need to make a change, and here's a change we're going to make, and here's the reason why we're going to make that change. So I'm asked all the time by patients, what's the difference between personalized medicine and traditional medicine? And in traditional medicine, there's a singular approach. So you have cancer A, and for cancer A, here is a standard of care treatment. And after you go through the standard of care treatment and it doesn't work, typically there's not a plan B. There's not another option. So then patients are told, hey, there's nothing else that can be done. And so then they're convinced that, hey, there's no hope and we can't do anything else. Now I want to contrast that in a personalized approach that we have at Causenta. We're going to measure all kinds of details within your body. And we're going to find lots of areas that we can actually improve your health. And then indirectly, by improving those areas, we're going to help you do a better job at fighting cancer. So whereas someone else would say, hey, there's nothing that could be done, we're going to say, hey, there's lots of opportunity here to improve your health and make sure that you have a better quality of life so that you're able to function and live life under your own terms and not just waste away in a bed in hospice somewhere and watch everything go by you as time passes on. So if you or a loved one has been diagnosed with cancer and you're looking to get help, I strongly encourage you to go to causenta.com and fill out the form at the bottom of the page and find out for yourself how we can help you.